Life, you're too close to the ledge. We gon' push you forward a few steps ahead. It's that edge life. Oh, oh, gotta get it in your head, baby. Welcome to the edge life. You're too close to the ledge. We gon' push you forward a few steps ahead. It's that edge life. Oh, oh, gotta get it in your head. Welcome to the edge life.
What is going on, everybody? Hey. You have tuned in to another edition of the Edge Live podcast. I am super excited. We are super excited to be here. What's your name? What's your name?
What's your name? What's your
girl? What's your name is? My fine wife. That's her name.
I'm Carrie.
You are Carrie. You are Carrie. You are Carrie.
I am.
And my name is Philip Edge. And listen, we are here with the Edge Live podcast on a Sunday night. You all know we go live every Sunday, fun day, just to bring you a little bit of life, just to, talk a little bit, share a little bit, and just keep it all the way real with y'all.
Yeah, 100. We stay 100. Sometimes you might get a little bit more than you bargained for, but hey, we're always 100. So
this is very true. What's up, Kara? We see you today.
Hey,
welcome
Kara.
to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast. It is going down tonight because
we're gonna talk about the power of pursuit.
The power of pursuit, y'all. Listen, this is gonna be the real deal. So
it is the real deal.
If you are married, if you have a spouse, significant other, and you are you are trying to make sure you keep them, this is a good podcast to tune into.
If you ever plan on being married,
hey, you better say that.
Yes, so this is good for everybody.
You better say it. You better say it. And I honestly, I'm excited about it. The last time we were on here, we gave the 4 different laws for any couple who is trying to get married and stay married
for a successful marriage.
The 100% successful marriage. So we broke that thing down, and we'll give you all a quick review a little bit later on today as well. But listen, we truly believe that marriage it is possible to be successful in your marriage. You know what I'm saying? We don't have it all right. We don't have it all figured out, but we in this thing 21 years.
We sure are.
We figured something out.
We did. We at least stayed together.
That's right.
Nothing else. We're still together, right?
That's right. I'm telling you.
Y'all. Seriously, marriage is one of the best things that ever happened to me in life, So, and I believe it can be the best thing that happened to you as well. So it's not about just staying together.
That's right.
It's about all the benefits.
Right. Well, and it's one of the benefits is being able to thrive together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like literally being able to thrive together in your marriage. And today we did something a little different. We're actually going live on Facebook, on YouTube, someplace else, and even with Instagram.
What on Instagram.
What's
so
going
we're not looking
on, Chris?
At you here.
My man Christopher Williams is in the house. Christopher Williams, The World According to Chris.
Cute.
Oh man, we trying.
Cute.
Girl, you are fine. You know what I'm saying? Fine. My homeboy Christopher Williams, y'all check his podcast out, The World According to Chris on YouTube.
Yeah.
This brother's doing car reviews. Every car I think I want to drive, he's reviewing those cars.
Chris is the culprit. Stop reviewing cars, Chris.
Hey, my brother's killing it.
Especially not the Tesla.
Hey, don't get me started.
Everybody that knows Philip at this point, even my friends that have been hanging around him recently.
Yeah.
I had a guy who was like, hey, I heard your husband once. What are those cars called? The electric one. I was like, yeah, Tesla.
The Tesla. I'm telling you.
The thing about Philip is when he gets his eye on something,
it's going down.
He gets it.
It's going down.
That, that's almost like a great segue for pursuit.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about it today, because I think...
Should we review first and talk about, the 4 laws and then jump into the law of pursuit, which honestly...
That's like the main thing.
I feel like this is the kingpin.
Yeah.
Pursuit, because if you pursue, then the other 3 just kind of fall in line.
I love it. And Kara says she saw us from the beginning.
Yeah,
when I had hair. when I had hair.
Like, yeah, when you had a Gumby, Kara,
Right,
you can
right,
vouch for me.
right.
Like, it was like blondish on one side.
Come on, somebody. Y'all don't know about that. Y'all don't know about the Gumby hair. Y'all don't know
Yeah,
about that. But
yeah.
but we had it going on. We had it going on. So listen, baby, let's go ahead and let's jump into this thing because we got a lot we want to break down tonight.
We do.
But
And the Hawks are playing.
And the Hawks are playing.
Yeah.
So if you were watching the Hawks
Fly
game
high
and you're
Hawks.
checking this out on the replay, just let us know. Say, hey, listen, I was checking y'all out on the replay.
Or you guys are watching, Charles Barkley and Shaq go at each other pregame, and you're looking, you're scrolling through Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and you're seeing this in between. We promise we're not going to go at it like those two.
No, we ain't gonna do that. We ain't
No,
gonna do
we
that.
never have done that. And
And
that's
that's a good
because,
thing.
accidentally not knowing.
That's right.
We've had these 4 laws.
Yeah.
And now that we know the 4 laws, like, it's been easy to see when the 4 laws of a successful marriage have not been present.
Absolutely.
And how that has impacted us. So
Absolutely.
let's talk about the 4.
Yeah, so what we said in our last segment, we spoke about the 4 laws, and we said we can 100% guarantee a successful marriage. And I don't like throwing those guarantees out like that, but the truth of the matter is these things that we're talking about today, they are laws, meaning they will work if you work them. Key being if you work
it.
them, right? If you work it, come and work it. Put the thing down, flip it.
Hey, that's a different show.
My bad. So yeah, that right there. But so we're looking at these 4 laws, and we said that marriage can be 100% successful. You just have to be able to follow these 4 specific laws. So if you did not catch the last podcast, I'm gonna say go back, check it out. Right, go back and check it out. But let's go ahead and drop them for you. The first thing that we said that you had to do, you have to prioritize. Like you have to prioritize your marriage. You have to prioritize your spouse. They have to be number 1.
Gotta
right
be first.
And in the Bible, as it speaks, it says, for this cause a man will leave his mother and his father, and he will cleave unto his spouse. Right.
Yep.
So as we were talking about this thing, there's something about being able to make your spouse number 1, right? And in making your spouse number 1, the other party, right, your spouse, they feel a certain way. They feel like they're the priority. And if they feel like they're the priority, guess what? Life is a whole lot better, y'all. Life is a whole lot better when people feel like they're the priority.
If the wife, you don't feel like she's number 1.
Or the husband.
Then you might think they's a side chick.
That's it.
I mean,
it. You trying to figure out what's going
even
on.
if there's not, like, you're trying to figure out, like, why am I not number 1?
That's right. That's right.
Right under God, y'all. You have to put him first.
Come on,
like,
somebody.
I'm just keeping it real. But yeah, it makes you wonder, like, what is first?
Right.
You can't put your spouse, second to your career, to your children. To anything, your hobbies, etc. Like, your spouse has to be the priority.
Right.
That's the first law.
One of the things that I was sharing with them in the past podcast episode, I was sharing with people about how, at one point in time, traveling around, I was on the road like 42 weeks out of the year, doing my thing. I would come home, y'all, and it would almost be as if I was still away. Right. So I would be at home sitting in front of the computer, click-clacking away, working. And I wasn't giving my wife the attention that she deserved until I finally figured out what was going on. And this is the crazy piece.
Well, and to that, like, I'm gonna do a big reveal. Just to be honest, I was trying to figure out what was going down in the DM. Like, was there something going on? Like, why am I not the priority? Why is he so disconnected? Like, what's happening when he travels? It just, it made me try to get out the PI, the private investigator, trying to come out.
Hey, she had that little thing, that little glass.
Yeah,
right?
He slip away from his tablet or whatever. I might hit the Facebook and check the DM. It's like, okay, it's all clear there. Like, what's wrong? Like, my arm's jiggling a little too much. I mean, what is it?
That's funny. Yeah,
I think I wore deodorant.
Funny.
I mean, what
so
is
funny.
it? So, but no, for real, like, your mind, we tell people this all the time. Your mind will make movies.
You create movies.
You create movies in your mind when things don't seem right. So, like, right off the rip, if you're not prioritizing your spouse, there will be movies in their mind.
That's right. And they try to figure it out, right?
Yeah, they will try to figure it out. And to be honest, like, if you start digging for dirt,
you might find
something a little, you might find some dirt.
you might find some dirt.
You might find
some
something
dirt.
that you're not that happy with,
Right. Right.
But I mean, for us, like when I didn't feel like I was a priority, I told him, like, for real, you're like here, but you're really gone.
Right.
And that not feeling like we were number one, me and even the family, I went to him and was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. If I'm going to do it by myself, then for real, like, let me take this stressor out of my life and let me do it by myself.
Right.
If I'm going to be a single mom, then I've just got to move on.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
But we're still here.
21 years later.
Because he realized,
Well, I realized at that particular moment that I needed to prioritize you. And that leads us to number 2, right? And really the thing that we're going to be talking about tonight more in depth, which is pursuing.
Pursuit, yeah.
And
so there was a pursuit that had to happen.
Yeah, there was a pursuit that had to happen. I'm going to glaze over that one.
And especially when and since the person didn't feel like prioritized,
Correct.
You have to pursue a little bit more.
Correct. So we're going to talk about this one more in depth today. So tell them number 3. Tell them the third one.
Number 3 is partner.
Yeah.
And, that's really what I was digging into when I was talking about not feeling like I was a priority.
Right.
I didn't have anybody to partner with because he wasn't putting me first.
Right.
And because I didn't feel first, I just, I was alone. So I fell into the sin that women fall into in marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And, that was basically independent decision making.
That's right.
Like I wasn't consulting anybody. So, I'm partly to blame, for that too. Because because he was apathetic, which is the sin that men fall into in marriage.
Yep.
I partnered with me. I rolled with me. I could depend on me.
Right.
I knew that I would put the proper things first.
Right. And honestly, that becomes a major problem in marriage. And the crazy thing is it's like this secret problem that people feel and know something is going on, but they can't quite pinpoint it, right?
Yeah.
They can't quite pinpoint it. So we always go back to what we know, right? And going back to what you were saying, for women, when this is occurring inside of the relationship, they're like, well, you know what? I can be bad all by myself, right? For men, when things aren't going real well in the relationship, we get there's these apathetic moments that happen for me, and we disconnect, right?
Yeah.
We're in the wood shop, you know what I'm saying? We're in the man cave. We're doing all of those things to just separate ourselves.
And women, we use that prideful independence as a protection mechanism because we're afraid what's next, and so we have to protect ourselves. And if children are involved, we feel like we have to protect our children as well, right, wrong, or indifferent, because it is a sinful reaction. That's what we do. We know that is wrong, but that's what we do. And what you see sometimes that happens over time through the course of a marriage where you've been married for a number of years is that partnership starts to dwindle about certain things. And spouses take certain roles, and then there's no partnering in those areas.
Right.
Just because someone is better at finance doesn't mean that you're not supposed to partner
work together.
in it,
Right.
because you leave a point of contention in your marriage if you're not partnering on everything, right? On everything.
Yep.
There shouldn't be any secrets. See, that allows you to make secrets, and then again, that's when the enemy can come in
Absolutely.
and create a stronghold.
Absolutely. And tell them the last one.
So the last one is be pure.
That's right.
And this one, a lot of people don't really get it, but it's really about showing care and concern, like being careful. Like you don't just say and do anything.
That's right.
Like you especially exercise this when you are dating. Like men, you don't pass gas around your girlfriend. Ladies, you don't belch when you eat.
That's not a good sign, y'all.
But when you start doing certain little things, you just stop being careful. Like you say things that come on, ladies, it's going to hurt.
Yep.
But you bring it up. You bring the past. You just start throwing knives. Swords start coming out of your tongue, and you just start saying things that you shouldn't.
Anything. Right.
Doing things carelessly because you're like, oh well, that's my spouse. I'm gonna do whatever I'm gonna do, and not even care, not even have any care or concern. So you have to be pure, and purity is all about exercising being careful.
So in looking at this thing, those are the four: prioritize, pursue, partner, and be pure, right? If you do those four things and do those four laws consistently, again, we guarantee your marriage will be 100% successful, but you have to do those things.
Yeah.
But as Carrie and I, we were really looking at these four things and just really seeing how they were active in our lives. There was one for us that really stuck out, that really jumped out at us. And it was the second law, which is all about pursuit, right? Pursuit. And I just want to say this. Whatever it took to get them, those are the same things that you need to do to keep them. You y'all remember, like before things got just all stale and boring and whatnot, man, you
were
was
putting in work.
You was putting in all kind of work. You was, for my men, y'all was being Casanova run. I mean, y'all was out there like Romeo, you had the flowers, you had the poems, you had all the stuff.
Listen,
you were doing all that.
And then once you got them draws, you didn't care anymore. Ooh. So now you're married and you feel like you can have whatever you want whenever you want.
Yep.
Or maybe y'all ain't even.
You ain't having nothing.
Yes.
Ain't no tapping on the shoulder. No taps on the shoulder.
No. Now you just like whatever.
Yep.
You're not pursuing anymore.
That's right.
You just stop.
That's right.
You just stop it. And we have to pursue each other. I think sometimes once you know someone so well, there's so much more intentionality that has to go behind pursuing someone. So pursuit is like the art of a deeper knowing of someone.
I can feel
growing to really truly understand them. It's being active.
Yeah.
Being intentional, like doing. We stopped doing.
Yeah.
We just stop.
Well, I think again, when you've been together so long, it's just like it's the same old. You know what I'm saying? So what are you doing things to put flavor in the relationship, put flavor in the marriage, right? How are you being active in that thing? So when we're talking about pursuing, I really believe it comes down to three specific things, right? You got to have understanding, you have to have action, and then you have to really be able to serve your spouse, right? You got to have understanding, you got to have action, and you have to be able to serve your spouse. Now, and when I break that down, that understanding, that's super deep, right? So like when I think about you, I have to be able to know my wife almost as good as my wife knows my wife, or really better than she knows her, right? Like I have to be able to watch her, observe her, watch the signs. I know when she does certain things with her eyes, what they mean. I know when she says certain things out loud, what it means, or when she doesn't say things, what it means, because I'm in pursuit, I'm observing, and I begin understanding the lay of the land that is my wife. So because of that, and because I'm being observant, I'm able to recognize the good, the bad, the ugly, and I know then what I need to do.
There ain't no ugly.
Well, that is true, girl. You know what I'm saying? That is, there ain't no ugly when it comes to my wife. Right.
There is ugly.
But what I'm saying is I know what I need to do to be in pursuit of my wife, because that pursuit of my wife allows my wife to feel like, you know what, I'm important, I'm number one, and my husband loves me.
Absolutely. And I think as a part of the understanding, like I was saying, I really feel like it's a deep knowing, you know, knowing the mannerisms, and there's a pursuit to know, like you should want to inquire and acquire something, new knowledge about your spouse, like every day.
Yeah.
Like there are treasures. The Bible literally tells us that there are treasures to be discovered within our spouse. And so we have to be constantly on this mission to get to know. One of the things that we do when we do marriage counseling, whether, we hope it's the premarital counseling, but sometimes it's, when people are in a situation, sometimes it's just because they want to grow more in their marriage. Right. There's no crisis or anything like that. But we do personality profiling so that they can understand each other, understanding that this is a function of their personality, and it's not something you should take personal.
Right.
It's who they are, not that they're trying to like get on your nerves or whatever. So, and then you need to understand that I don't care. The whole art of what do you want to eat? I don't care. Well, they
really do care.
Really do care.
They really do care.
You better know. Like, if your wife don't like certain kinds of food, don't go there.
Don't go there.
Like, if I'm picking dinner, I'm not going to anything that's like Indian cuisine because my husband doesn't like it. I like it. He would probably go for me.
Right.
But I'm not going to do that because I know he doesn't prefer it. Right. And so when I was thinking about this understanding or knowing, so I went back to my law enforcement days.
Yeah.
And so working at the sheriff's office, one of the things that we had to do was serve warrants, right? And so a lot of research went in.
Are you serving a warrant on me? I mean,
no, boy, but I'm going to lock you up. I told y'all was going to get way more sometimes than what you bargaining for. But anyways, we are married. We can do that. See, that's the beauty of marriage.
That's right.
There is no law against it.
That's right.
We can do whatever we want to do.
That's right.
Yeah. So let me reel it back in. Let me get my
get your composure.
Okay. So, like I was saying, so in serving warrants,
right,
you do research.
Yes.
You want to know the circle that they run around. You want to know mannerisms.
That's right.
You want to know things they like, where they go to work, what time they get there, all these sorts of things so that you can find them.
Right.
You spend a lot of time
working.
But the problem is in marriage, we don't spend that time anymore looking to find the treasures that are within.
That's so good.
And men, when you look to find the treasures, the chest will be open unto you, I promise. So you need to seek and really look for those things, like I said, each and every day.
Yeah.
Like it's you could relate it or equate it to a hunter. Tracking in pursuit of the the kill.
Yeah.
Which
that doesn't sound quite right. But y'all follow us.
So you're studying, you're observing, you're standing back, you're looking, and it's so impressive, like when your spouse recognizes certain things about you and can just step in moments when you're really having a tough time, or allow you to just kind of tap out, or does something a little extra because they see that you're having there's just something going on.
Right.
There's beauty in that.
Right.
For real.
Well, and you just said it. There is beauty in that. I know sometimes. I know your love language, and that's one of the things that we talk about a lot. Knowing and understanding your spouse's
really goes
love
into
language.
that whole action.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Knowing how to act.
That's right.
The first one is knowing, okay, they need love.
Right.
The second one in action is like, okay,
knowing how
to act.
To love them. Right. Right. Because I know my wife. I know if I want to show her that I love her, I need to go put them dishes in the dishwasher. I need to run them dishwasher. You know what I'm saying? I need to go get them clothes and fold them clothes. I need to take the trash out, right? Doing those kinds of things. Because for my wife, she's like, oh, you love me. I need to get the vacuum cleaner and run the vacuum cleaner, or get the broom and sweep off the rug. Like when I do those kinds of things, my wife's like, oh, you love me. Like if I go out and buy my wife something, that's not necessarily her love language. Now, she will appreciate it. She'll appreciate it.
Yeah.
But she's just gonna be like, oh, okay, this is nice. But again, let me speak her language. Let me talk to her in a language that she will receive, right? To her, like my wife would be like, oh, no, boy, that's sexy right there, boy. That is sexy. When you go,
you are impressing me with your skills.
Yeah, and here's the reality. Before you got married, you tried to impress your spouse. I mean, you didn't go out nowhere looking all messed up. You didn't go,
That also goes to speak to being pure.
Come on, somebody.
Be careful.
Right,
Don't go out on a date looking like people at Walmart.
Come on, man.
I mean, unless both of y'all are going out that way.
You're trying to have fun with it. You're trying to have fun with it.
You're cool with it. So.
Right. But really, you got to be in the place where you're constantly pursuing, you're constantly working to understand. And as you understand, you're going deeper and deeper into that thing, right?
Yes.
And literally, like you said, that, man, you talk about attractive, you talk about good. I mean, man, that's the good of the land right there, for real.
Yes. Yes, I can remember one time when we were dating. There was really like an onslaught of pursuit because we were actually broken up, but still talking. And he got everybody rallied to get us back together. My best friend, my sister, and he bought an outfit. I mean, he was really brave. It was very impressive. Bought an outfit, said, "Hey, put all this on, get yourself ready. I'm taking you somewhere." And he didn't tell me where. And took me to the Spaghetti Factory, which if you're from Louisville, you know about.
It's a good old restaurant.
Yeah, good restaurant, except for they have onions in their
and everything. And everything.
He doesn't like onions, so he put himself in a place that had something he didn't like,
right.
but he didn't know that.
Right.
But anyways, so it's those sorts of things, like just going the extra mile.
Yeah.
Surprises with things that your spouse would really enjoy. One of the things that I try to do, my husband, he and this is the nature of all husbands' wife. I'm just gonna let you know, they need you to be cheerleaders. They need you to be encouragers because it's part of that respect and honor. Like they are the greatest, and you need to let them know that they're greatest. My husband is the greatest, and so I'll write him little notes and things of that nature. He likes physical touch, but he also likes the quality time. So things that I put time into also. We may not. So if your spouse's love language is quality time, you may not always be able to spend that time. And we've had to learn, like with him traveling and things of that nature, I've had to learn how to translate that love language into something other than like actual physical time.
Right.
And so that might be writing a letter, just taking the time to do something, and that translates to quality time for him, something that's encouraging him, building him up, lifting him up, and nourishing him. That's part of the active part of what you do to pursue your spouse. Needs to nourish them in a really deep place, in their soul.
Right. Absolutely.
Really touch their mind, their will, and their emotion.
Yeah. And I think, again, when you do these kinds of things, again, when you don't forget what you did in the beginning, right? And when you do those kinds of things, because you got to remember that there was a reason that your spouse fell for you. There was a reason that y'all would be on the phone talking about, hey, you get off the phone, you get off the phone,
you get off first,
you get off first.
I love you more.
Yeah,
I love you infinity.
Right. There were reasons that you all did that. Falling on the phone, all you heard was snoring and talking about, you sleep? No, I wasn't sleep. There was a reason that you did those kinds of things. So when you can continue to work around those things and pull those things out, that's why they love you. You know what I'm saying? That's why they fell for you. So you got to continue to do those kinds of things. Yeah,
absolutely. And then the last thing, really to just round this out, the last thing that you have to do to pursue your spouse is really in the area of serving, and that means that you have to sacrifice sometimes your own, your own will.
Yep.
If your spouse is not following the 4 laws, then you got to dig your heels in and follow them even more closely. Instead of going the opposite direction, men, you disconnect and become apathetic.
Yeah.
Women, you become pridefully independent. Instead of doing that, resist the urge to do that.
Yep.
And really dig into the 4 laws and serve. I can remember, in times when you were traveling, like in the very beginning, it was easier for me to serve. And then I found myself really getting into a really bad place of just prideful independence because I didn't feel prioritized. And I can remember breaking certain things, and it really caused me to sacrifice. I mean, even the way I was speaking, my language. I can remember I say, "Oh, well, I'm single mom this week," and I changed that.
Yeah.
Changed even that saying, because I started having this whole feeling of I need to serve him. I need to dig in. I need to love him more. And I started saying I'm a mom home alone this week. Just little things like that. Serving him in the way that I know he wants to be served, but also that I would want someone to sacrifice for me. And I think sometimes this is the place where people have a hard time, because for whatever reason, women don't want to, they think the word submission is a bad word.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not. It takes a strong person to be fully submitted. Because what I can say is, that when I was being pridefully independent, when I didn't feel prioritized, that I was not being submissive. And and once I realized that if I just submitted, like God would take care of the rest. If I just got myself in a place of order, then I started seeing my husband prioritizing me. And he was beginning to love me like Christ loved the church, because he also had a revelation. And so, you know, just humbling yourself in a place of just serving. It's hard for someone to disconnect from you and be apathetic if you're serving. You know, you sometimes you get to a place in marriage where you're like, it's either all or nothing.
Right.
And so I admonish you, if you're in that place, you know, pray, but serve.
Absolutely.
Sacrifice. You know, when my husband sacrifices himself for me by doing things for our children, by, you know, doing things, you know, it just really is very meaningful. For me, the sacrifices that I see that he makes time and time again, you know, even now that I have a different perspective on your travels and your time on the road, like he wasn't doing that to like have fun. Like he wanted to be at home. He wanted to sleep in his own bed. He wanted to have a home cooked meal. And I was over here having a bad attitude, like, I wish I could go out to eat and have $100 meal. You know, I'm over here eating ramen with these kids, you know, blah, blah, blah. But once I got myself, you know, back in check, and I could really see, I could understand that you were sacrificing, you were serving.
And you know, it's funny because a lot of times we can't see what sacrifice looks like, or what
not in the midst.
Right in the when you're in it, you can't see what sacrifice looks like. But you know, in 1 John 3:16, you know, this is where we see, this is how we know that we have love, right? Because again, when we look at Jesus Christ, he laid down his life for those that he loves. And honestly speaking, those are the things that we need to be doing for our spouse. You know, when I think about my wife, when I think about my children, this family, like my mindset was, I'm doing this job in traveling because I want to provide for them, because I want to make sure that they have the things that they need to have, right? Honestly speaking, and I'm just being real, after a while, the airplane was just like any old public transportation bus. I mean, you get on there, and you know, I did get a little bougie. I was not sitting in the middle no more, right? But it was like public transportation. You were frustrated and you're mad, and you got to be in the airport, and those are the things that were behind the scenes that nobody really saw. So it wasn't glamorous. It wasn't the glamour job that everybody thought that it was, right? It was really work. You know, you're dealing with people all day long. You got to be on. You can't be sick and you can't be down. So for me, I'm like, you know what? This is the sacrifice that I'm making so that I can make sure that, you know, my wife is taken care of and has the things that she needs. The children are taken care of. The household is taken care of. And that was the sacrifice, you know, but I also had to realize in sacrificing, she needed some other things, like she needed me. She needed my time. So for example, every Friday, I made a point to say, hey, from 11 to about 1:30, 2 o'clock on every Friday, when I came home from my trip, I said, listen, I am giving this time to you, and we're going to go out. We're going to have a date. We're going to do something. And that was our date time. Fridays, from in between that time right there. And the cool thing about it was, you know, she valued it. And we had this little Chinese spot we would go to, right? What was it? Tang's Garden, right?
Yes.
So we would go over to Tang's Garden.
It's not here anymore.
Right. They knew who we were. They knew what we were ordering, and we would go and we would do that. And that was literally my time, and I was prioritizing my wife. And literally when meetings would come up, right? So there were meetings, people would want to meet. I'm like, no. You can't infringe on this time, because this is time that I have set aside that is specifically for my wife, because I want her to know that I'm pursuing her. I want her to know that she's the priority. And listen, everything else needs to be on the back burner. And when you do those kinds of things, man, you talk about a spicy marriage. You talk about people being happy, like people enjoying people. Like literally, we know people right now, and they're going out, they don't even want to talk. Why? Because they're not, you know, prioritizing their marriage, they're not pursuing their marriage, they're not partnering with their spouse, and they're not being pure.
And, you know, ultimately, like we were saying, really think that the pursuit is very much the kingpin.
Yeah.
Because all the others just seem to kind of fall in line when you're really being very intentional about letting the person know that you care about them. You know, that you love them and they matter to you by pursuing them.
That's right.
By, you know, really digging in to really know and understand them, by being active and intentional with the things that you do.
Right.
And by making sacrifices, you let the person know that you love them.
That's right.
You love them, you know, and that they are important to you.
That's right. And again, when you can show that person that you love them, and when they can receive it in their language, oh man, you got a recipe for success. You got a recipe for success.
You know, and I think about, you know, when Jesus was talking about to the shepherd, you know, using the example of the shepherd and the 100 sheep, and he said, you know, what happens when the one goes astray? Well, I leave the 99
to go after the one. Right.
So that's a reflection of God.
That's good. Yeah.
He would leave everything else. So the career, the children, the fancy house, car,
all of
whatever, to go pursue the one. And when there is a reconciliation, when he finds the one, there is a rejoicing that happens. And so God pursues us like that. He'll leave everything chase after you. And like you said, you know, John 3:16, that God so loved that he gave.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that he was active,
That's right.
intentional. He understood that we had to be reconciled because of our sin nature, because sin was introduced into the world. And so what did he give? He gave a sacrifice.
That's right.
In his son, Jesus the Christ. So, you know, when you put him first, when you understand his laws, when you see how he did it to let us know that he loves us, man, just put those things into your marriage and watch what God will do. So, you know, this week we just encourage you to don't even tell your spouse. Do something to pursue them.
That's right.
Do something to let them know that you're chasing after them, that they're important to you, and watch. You know, we want to hear next week how that goes.
That's right. That's right. Matter of fact, in the chat feature, if you're watching us live or catching us on the replay, write down inside the chat feature right now, what's something that you can do to pursue your spouse, right? What's something that you can do to pursue your spouse? Maybe that's, you know, going and watching the game with your husband, right? Maybe that's, you know, going out and taking your wife out, you know, on a date. Maybe that's just going and doing the dishes, right? What is that?
Maybe that's not wearing the sweatpants to bed.
Oh, see, you gonna go there. You go. you gonna go there.
That is pursuit. I'm trying to impress you. I'm trying to
there.
woo you. I'm trying to, you know, win you over. And look, don't be discouraged if they don't recognize it. Just keep pursuing. Sometimes by no fault, but just life happens. We don't see. We have to have, you know, the scales are over our eyes and they need to drop away. So, you know, don't worry. Just keep pursuing.
Yeah.
Just keep pursuing.
So you shouldn't wear the bonnet to bed.
The bonnet?
The little head thing. Head covering
I don't
thing.
wear a bonnet.
No, that little head covering
I wear
thing.
a scarf. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, sometimes I do.
You got a cute scarf though. Your scarf is kind of cute.
Yeah.
You got the silk scarf.
Yeah, because, you know, I had some iron issues and, you know, that messes with your hair. So I like my hair. Like, I've got like, you know, what was that?
Farrah Fawcett hair.
Is that Farrah Fawcett?
That little thing, the little wave thing.
What was the show with the
Charlie's Angels?
Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, you got the waves going on. Yeah. Or I don't know what they're called. The wings, waves, something like that.
It's the curtain bangs.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. So what are you going to do to pursue your spouse this week? Put it inside the comments. We're looking forward to seeing what happens in your marriage, in your relationship, as you intentionally pursue your spouse this week. I'm super excited about it. I'm super excited about seeing what y'all gonna do. Yeah, girl, hey, you ain't saying nothing but a word. I'm gonna pursue you all week. Get ready.
Hey,
get ready.
Listen, pursue, but don't be a stalker. Okay, I'm feeling a little uneasy. This guy can be pretty intense in his pursuit.
Get ready.
We're in the jungle.
Get ready.
This is the domain of the lioness.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is get ready. It's going down. It's going down.
Be like National Geographic up in this piece.
We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time.
Absolutely. So pursue your spouse this week and have fun. Have fun. Man, marriage is just a place where you can have fun. And again, there are no laws against it. So
that's right.
It's good. Right. It's good.
So this week, go pursue your spouse, and we will be back next week, 8 o'clock. Yeah, IG, we might even come live on IG again next week. We might even. I like y'all down there.
Why not?
IG's down there, y'all. By the way, IG's down there. So we might even go live on IG next week as well. But listen, go pursue your spouse. Go be intentional. Go do this thing big. Go love on your wife. Go love on your husband, and we'll see y'all next week.
Doing it and doing it and doing it well.
Girl, bye y'all.
Bye.
Edge life, you're too close to the ledge. We gon' push you forward a few steps ahead. It's that edge life. Oh, oh, gotta get it in your head, baby. Welcome to the edge life. You're too close to the ledge. We gon' push you forward a few steps ahead. It's that edge life. Oh, oh.